here! Today I'll be talking about the app I've created through Scratch. The aim of the app is to create a store simulation for students in order to break down math concepts such as addition and using a virtual calculator. To gain students' interest, I've made the setting to be in space. For the game, the customer chooses items which the player then needs to give the correct answer to. The students must be able to read and make connections with the labeled items and add up the items to the calculator. The game targets students in grade 2. In reference to the Victorian curriculum, the focus is specifically mathematics, which states the stages of patterns in algebra, money and financial mathematics, number and algebra. The learning outcome is to benefit and increase the learner's skills to solve addition problems using Australian currency, also recognize the value of coins and dollars and make connections with the displayed prices. Also, to apply these strategies to the calculator to form an answer. It will teach a learner on how to use a virtual calculator. Furthermore, to introduce currency in a relevant format for the learner to make meaning of their learning experience and relate this to real-life situations. According to the Samurai model, the app relates with modification. The technology replaces a cash register where the learner manually enters the labeled products to the calculator to give the price for the customer. This level is transforming the learning activity that is producing improvements in learning outcomes. In reference to Bloom's taxonomy, the app allows students to apply. The learner is required to make connections with their prior knowledge and apply this to the game. This level aims for the learner to achieve a deeper and more complex learning outcome. They will need to apply their knowledge of coins and dollars whilst using addition problems to receive the correct answer. This aligns with Piaget's cognitive constructivist theory, how learning is a process of constructing meaning, and much of this derived from how individuals make sense of their experience. This is required to use their prior knowledge to actively construct knowledge to attain a positive outcome. According to G's learning principle, the app relates to interaction. The learner is required to be actively engaged to receive feedback, as nothing happens until a player acts and makes decisions. Until the correct answer is entered, the game will not move on, therefore motivating the learner to keep going. Feedback can be further exploited as a form of competition. However, interest for the app must be present. Individual interest is characterized by a desire to develop competence or a personal investment in a particular topic or domain. This individualized learning also links with the constructivist perspective where the learner makes sense of their experience. For some learners, experiences that do not encourage the children to make meaning from their learning will quickly be forgotten. Throughout the game, I've included sound effects and hints which link to affordance 5 recursive feedback. Such formative feedback is a critical feature of learning as learners strive to understand new discipline practice to master concepts and create effective performances. If the learner gets the answer incorrect, a buzz sound will play. However, if they get the correct answer, a cheering sound will play. Providing students with an accurate, intelligent, and motivating feedback is a critical aspect of learning environment and is vital to the learning process. Feedback will encourage the students to strive forward and aim for the correct answer. This particular ICT tool is inclusive for students with dyscalculia. The idea of the game is to encourage using a calculator by adding and learning how to receive and give money in different format. ICT increases the motivation, independence, self-esteem and communication skills of LD students and aids in facilitating transition to work. The activity can be done collaboratively with students or a knowledgeable other. In reference to Vygotsky's zone proximal development, the game will help students with dyscalculia as learning through others will allow them to receive greater results. Interaction with peers and others help learners to bridge this gap. The game gives the learner control as it allows the learner to play at their own pace. Allowing users to control particular aspects of the learning environment provides opportunities for students to invest in that environment and to identify themselves with some aspects of the experience. As teachers, it is important to promote positive use of copyright materials and responsible ICT use. In order to reflect this, I have drawn my own pictures of the product. Will allow me to encourage my students to not feel negative when trying to create their own content. In order to teach students which practices are permitted and which are not, it's advisable that teachers not to be vague on the exact regulations and not use illegal materials themselves in class. As a teacher, it is important to practice good ethics and morals for students to make their own understanding of what is right and wrong. I have changed my samurai stage to modification, as I believed it suits that stage the most, and added another level from the Victorian curriculum. I faced major challenges with Scratch, specifically coding a calculator. However, through further research, through watching YouTube videos and the help of my teacher, I was able to get through it. I learned through determination and the due date of assessment 2 and 3, I was able to teach myself how to code. Students can reflect what they learn as a consumer and incorporate this to the content they create. However, as a teacher, to teach my students without using other people's work. In an educational setting, I aim to encourage my students to reach further of their capability as they do not understand the power of motivation and individual capacity. This will allow them to achieve more and reach a higher level of success.